Everyone wants to be liked. Everyone wants to feel accepted, to be seen as kind, generous, helpful. But at what cost? How many times have you said yes when you wanted to say no? How many times have you sacrificed your own needs, your own time, your own energy just to make someone else happy? How often do you find yourself overcommitted, exhausted, stretched to your limits, not because you wanted to be, but because you were too afraid to disappoint someone? This is the trap of people-pleasing. It starts small. A favor here, a commitment there, a little inconvenience just to keep the peace. But over time it grows. You become the person who is always available, always reliable, always willing to help, no matter what it costs you. People start to expect it. They stop asking. They assume. And before you know it, your life is no longer your own. You are living for everyone else, saying yes out of obligation, out of guilt, out of fear. And the worst part, no one truly respects a people-pleaser. They appreciate you, sure. They take advantage of your kindness, absolutely. But deep down, they do not admire you. Because people respect those who respect themselves. And when you say yes to everything, when you let others walk all over you, when you prioritize their happiness over your own, you are telling the world that your time, your energy, your life is worth less than theirs.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more topics you love.
And they will believe you. They will treat you accordingly. The more you give, the more they take. The more you sacrifice, the more they expect. And the moment you try to set a boundary, the moment you finally say no, they will act as if you have betrayed them. Because they were never appreciating you. They were using you, and you allowed it. But why? Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we bend over backwards to please people who do not even respect us? The truth is, people-pleasing is not kindness. It is fear. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being seen as selfish, as difficult, as unlikable. It is a survival mechanism deeply ingrained in us from childhood. We learn that saying no leads to disapproval, that standing up for ourselves leads to punishment, that our worth is tied to how useful we are to others. And so we comply. We smile when we do not want to. We agree when we should refuse. We put everyone else first, hoping that if we are likable enough, agreeable enough, selfless enough, we will finally be loved. But love built on self-sacrifice is not real love. It is dependence, obligation, a transaction in which you give everything and receive nothing in return. And what happens when you need something? When you are the one struggling, overwhelmed, exhausted? Who is there for you? Where are all the people you have helped, supported, prioritized? They are nowhere, because they were never truly in your life for you. They were in your life for what you could do for them. This is the harsh reality of people-pleasing. It does not create connection. It creates imbalance. It does not earn respect. It invites exploitation. It does not lead to happiness. It leads to resentment, exhaustion, and a deep, aching loneliness. Because the more you say yes to others, the more you say no to yourself. No to your needs, no to your goals, no to your time, your energy, your well-being, no to a life that is truly your own. And the longer you do this, the more you lose yourself. You forget what you want, what you need, what makes you happy. You become a shell, a person shaped by the demands of others, constantly bending, constantly adjusting, constantly sacrificing until there is nothing left of you. And for what? For approval, for temporary validation, for a sense of belonging that disappears the moment you stop being useful. This is not living, this is servitude. And the only way to escape it is to stop. Stop saying yes when you mean no. Stop prioritizing others at the expense of yourself. Stop believing that your worth is determined by how much you can give. But stopping is not easy. The moment you set boundaries, people will push back. They will guilt you, manipulate you, act as if you are the problem. They will say you have changed, that you are being selfish, ungrateful, difficult. But understand this, the only people who get upset when you set boundaries are the ones who benefited from you having none. The ones who respected you, who truly cared about you, will understand. They will support you. They will not leave just because you finally started valuing yourself. And if someone does leave, if they turn against you the moment you stop being useful, they were never truly in your life for the right reasons. Let them go, because keeping people in your life at the cost of your own well-being is not a sacrifice worth making. The real question is, are you willing to disappoint others to stay true to yourself? Are you willing to lose people who never truly valued you in order to gain a life that actually fulfills you? Because that is the choice. It is not easy, it is not comfortable, but it is necessary. Because the alternative is a life of quiet misery, where you are liked by everyone but known by no one, where you give everything and receive nothing, where you are surrounded by people but completely alone. And that is not a life worth living. Every time you say yes to something you do not want to do, you are weakening yourself. You are training your mind to believe that your desires, your boundaries, your personal well-being do not matter. It might feel small in the moment, agreeing to an extra shift at work, helping someone with a problem that is not yours, saying yes to plans you do not care about, but over time, then these small compromises accumulate. They erode your confidence, your self-respect, your ability to stand up for yourself. And the worst part is, the more you do it, the harder it becomes to stop. People start to expect it. They assume you will always be available, always say yes, always put their needs before yours. And the more they expect, the more pressure you feel to keep up the act, to avoid conflict, to maintain the illusion that you are happy being the person who never says no. But deep down, you know you are not. You feel the resentment growing, the exhaustion building, the quiet frustration of living a life that does not feel like your own. And yet you keep doing it, because saying no feels impossible, because the thought of disappointing people terrifies you, because you have spent so long being the person who says yes that you do not even know who you are without it. And this is how people-pleasing destroys you. Not all at once, but piece by piece. It eats away at your confidence, making you doubt your own needs, your own worth, your own right to make choices for yourself. It convinces you that standing up for yourself is selfish, that setting boundaries is cruel, that prioritizing your own happiness is wrong. But who told you that? Who made you believe that your worth is measured by how much you can give to others? Who taught you that saying no makes you a bad person? Because that is a lie that keeps you stuck, keeps you small, keeps you trapped in a cycle of self-sacrifice that benefits everyone except you. And the more you believe it, the more you suffer. You start to feel disconnected from yourself, from your own desires, from the things that once made you happy. You lose sight of your own dreams, your own goals, your own ambitions, because you are too busy fulfilling the expectations of others. And in the process, you become invisible, seen, but not truly known, valued for what you do, but not for who you are. And then one day you wake up and realize that you have spent years, maybe decades, living for everyone else, saying yes to things you hated, agreeing to things that drained you, sacrificing your own happiness just to keep other people comfortable. And for what? For approval, for validation, for the temporary comfort of avoiding conflict, because that is what it comes down to. People-pleasing is not about kindness. It is about fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being disliked, fear of standing alone. But is that really a life worth living? A life where your own needs come second to everyone else's? A life where you are constantly giving but never receiving? Or a life where you are surrounded by people, yet completely alone because no one truly knows the real you? And if that thought scares you, good, because you were not born to be a servant to other people's expectations. You were not put on this earth to live a life that is not your own. You do not exist just to make other people comfortable, but you exist for a reason, for a purpose, for a life that is meant to be yours. And if that means disappointing people, so be it. If that means losing people who only valued you for what you could do for them, let them go. If that means standing up for yourself and finally saying no, then do it. Because the cost of saying yes to everyone is too high. It costs you your time, your energy, your happiness, your future. And none of those things are worth sacrificing just to avoid upsetting someone. Because the truth is, no matter how much you give, it will never be enough. Some people will always want more. Some people will always expect you to put them first. Some people will never respect you unless you show them that you respect yourself first. And the only way to do that is to set boundaries, to say no without guilt, to value your own happiness as much as you value theirs. And that is not selfish. That is survival. That is self-respect. That is choosing to live your life on your own terms instead of someone else's. Because at the end of the day, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to suddenly decide to respect your boundaries if you do not enforce them. No one is going to magically recognize your worth if you keep putting yourself last. That is your job. That is your responsibility. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you take back control of your life. Because the reality is, people will take as much as you allow them to. That is not cruelty. That is human nature. If you do not set limits, they will not set them for you. And if you do not demand respect, they will not freely give it to you. So stop waiting for permission to prioritize yourself. Stop waiting for someone to tell you it is okay to say no. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to start living your life for you. And that moment is now. And the choice is yours. Will you keep saying yes out of fear, out of guilt, out of obligation? Or will you finally say no and take your life back? You have spent years saying yes when you wanted to say no, prioritizing everyone else at the expense of your own happiness, bending, adjusting, sacrificing. And for what? To be liked? To be accepted? To avoid conflict. But the truth is, no matter how much you give, It is never enough. People will always want more. They will always expect more. And as long as you keep saying yes, they will keep taking, because that is what you have trained them to do. And if you are waiting for them to suddenly realize how much you are sacrificing, they won't. If you are waiting for them to stop asking, to start respecting your time, to start valuing you for more than what you can do for them, they won't. Because people do not respect those who do not respect themselves. And if you want to change this, if you want to take back your time, your energy, your life, you need to stop waiting for permission. You need to stop hoping that people will understand on their own. You need to take control. And that starts with one simple but terrifying word: no. No, I cannot do that. No, I do not have time. No, I am not available. No, I do not want to. No explanation, no apology, no guilt, just no. And it will feel wrong at first. It will feel cruel. It will feel selfish. Because you have been conditioned to believe that putting yourself first is wrong. That saying no makes you a bad person. That prioritizing your own happiness is something to feel guilty about. But that is a lie. A lie designed to keep you small, to keep you compliant, to keep you giving while others take. And the only way to break free is to stop believing it. Because the truth is, saying no is not selfish, but it is necessary. It is survival. It is self-respect. And the sooner you start practicing it, the sooner you will realize that the world does not end when you disappoint people. That people do not abandon you just because you set boundaries. And that the ones who do, they were never truly in your life for you. They were in your life for what you could do for them. And losing them is not a loss. It is freedom. But saying no is just the first step. Because breaking free from people-pleasing is not just about learning to refuse others. It is about learning to choose yourself. And to recognize that your time, your energy, your well-being are just as important as anyone else's. And to stop apologizing for having needs, for having limits, for not being available whenever someone wants something from you. Because you have spent your whole life believing that your worth is tied to how much you can give. That if you are not useful, you are not valuable. But that is a broken way to live, because your worth is not measured by how much you can sacrifice. You do not need to exhaust yourself to be loved. You do not need to say yes to be accepted. You do not need to prove your value by constantly putting others before yourself. You are enough exactly as you are. And the moment you start believing that, everything changes. Because when you stop living for others, when you stop saying yes out of fear, when you stop being afraid of disappointing people, you take back control of your life. You start making decisions based on what you want, not what others expect. You start surrounding yourself with people who respect you, who value you, who do not need you to shrink yourself to make them comfortable. And for the first time, you start living for you. And that is when real happiness begins. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the right moment. Stop waiting for someone to tell you that it is okay to put yourself first. Because no one is going to give you that permission. You have to take it right now, and it starts with one word: no. Adesso.